This is Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle update. I'm here with Lee Priest and John Hansen, and we're going to be wrapping up tonight's IFBB Tampa Pro Men's Open event that took place just minutes ago. John left the venue. He was there in the front row in the press seat. John, Hunter Labrada, another generation of great bodybuilders. This is his pro debut. He wins it. Tell us, was he as good as advertised?
Yes, he was. He was excellent. He was awesome. And it was pretty wild seeing Lee Labrada's son up there. And Lee Labrada was right there on the front row with his wife and his kids. And, man, he resembled his dad's physique a lot, except, supersized, obviously. Yeah. But he's got a lot of the same similar qualities, great leg development, great side tricep pose. The audience even broke into applause when he hit his side tricep.
I was just telling Lee, that's why I put this picture up. I said his side try is unbelievable. Lee, it really is uncanny how much when in contest shape he looks like his dad, doesn't he? I mean,
I think Lee was probably a little bit leaner in the face, but overall, yes, the similarity is there. I want to ask John, though, of course I didn't see the video. I'm sure he would have had a good posing routine, would he? Yeah,
he did. Really, the best posing routine of the men's open for sure. He started off doing the lunging pose, like Lee Haney used to do, and he finished up with that pose too. So it was some kind of classical, slower music, but yeah, it was really excellent posing and a lot of Lee Labrada poses too. So it was really cool. It was really cool. I go back, so I remember seeing Lee Labrada on stage, and it was really, really cool seeing his son do the same thing.
I have to imagine that, to see your son up on stage, I mean, I wouldn't want my kid to necessarily go into bodybuilding unless it's something he really, really wanted to do. But, if he did, and I'm backing him, to see, your son up on stage better maybe than you are and having more potential because he's obviously taller and he's bigger than Lee was. Yeah. It's got to make Lee feel pretty good, right?
Yeah. And he won his first pro show just like Lee did. If you remember, Lee won it was the 86th Night of the Champions coming right off the Universe win. And his son wins his first pro show too. So he's going to the Olympia. He said he will be at the Olympia in December in Vegas.
Wow.
Well, I'm still sticking by my prediction that within the next couple of years, he's going to be top 3 or even win the Olympia. Lee got runner-up a few times, but I think his son's going to pull off and get a Sandow in the Labrada family.
I believe it too, Lee. I think so too. I think he definitely can do it. He seems like he really got his act together too. Real good kid, and real humble on stage. And it was a convincing win. I didn't think anybody was close to him.
Well, I think with Lee in his corner too, I think he's going to have that smart head on his shoulders from his father. He's not going to be like a bull at a gate. Let's see how big I can get in the quickest amount of time possible. I think he's going to pace himself with Lee in his corner and do it, the healthiest possible way he can do it and just be smart about it.
Yeah, I agree.
John, you're a master of statistics. What was Lee Labrada weighing and how tall was he back when he competed compared to Hunter here?
I think Lee was 5'5", and he won the Universe at 176. And I think, when they did that weigh-in at the 88 Olympia, he weighed in at 176.
Oh, did he really? He was that light, huh?
Yeah. So I'm sure he was probably 185 at the 92 Olympia when Dorian won.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, they flashed the thing once I was reading it. There could have been the 92 one. I think he was 186 was the heaviest.
Yeah.
They said he was 186.
Right. And that's certainly not heavy at all by any means,
Oh.
So what is the Hunter's? What are his stats?
I think he was 246, something like that.
Wow.
247.
Big difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah, his legs were phenomenal. Huge legs, really good arms. He is interesting because he had the same weak points and strong points that his dad had.
Yeah.
Great.
I think I got his routine here. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I like watching Hunter's progress. Because I remember when he first got into it, you'd see him and everyone's thinking, oh, maybe he might do physique because he had that physique. And then maybe he'll do classic. It's almost like he's going through physique, classic, straight into bodybuilding.
Yeah. There's his routine. So we can kind of watch him do his thing. He does hit a lot of the same poses as his dad, right?
He hit a lot of the Lee Labrada poses.
John, you were there in the front row. Was this a convincing victory?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't think it was close at all.
What do you think clinched it for him? Just more completeness?
He just had everything. He was really full. He was real hard. His color was fantastic. I don't know who did his color, but he stood out because his color was really, really good. Yeah, he just it was a convincing win. I didn't think Iain Valliere was really close to him. It was supposed to be real close for those two, but I thought he had him all the way.
And I was thinking the same thing. Going by, photo is always hard to tell, but I was saying overall, Hunter just looks overall like more complete, polished, the tan, everything. And looking at Iain, it just seemed like Iain, well, going by photos again, just looked a bit flat, and his tan just looked dirty compared to how polished Labrada looks.
That's a perfect word for it. It looked dirty, and Hunter, his tan was just like golden. It was like really. Why does
Iain always have problems? I know he's very pale off season, but we always tanned. I mean, I was always in the tanning bed, prior to putting coloring on, just so that if you sweat, you're not going to have like zero underneath your color you paint on.
Right.
I just think that your skin doesn't take the color as nice when you have no tan.
I think some people do. I remember I used to use Gentana sometimes, and it would never stick onto my body. Pro Tan would work, and then I used to use one called Contest Color, but there were certain things, whether it was just the chemicals in the tanning, it would look good on me, but then as soon as I pumped up and started sweating, it would just run off. It wouldn't take to my skin at all. So I guess maybe people need to start practicing a month or two out which tan is going to stick to their body the best.
Right. And the funny thing is about this is that Iain is an absolute freak, before he starts depleting down in that last week of the show. Like, I'm almost wondering if he's over depleting for these shows, because Hunter looks bigger than him in these pictures, and there's no way that Hunter is bigger than Iain.
Actually, I think they weighed about the same from what I heard on the podcast this week.
Really? Iain came down that much? This is a guy who weighs 270 on stage a lot of times,
Yeah, I think they were pretty close.
I think he overdieted, maybe.
Yeah.
I was going by the pictures too. I wouldn't have been surprised if that Dwane had have got into second place going by photographs and stuff, but you can't really tell in photos, I guess, to be in there. But it looked like it could have been fairly close for Dwane taking that second.
That guy was excellent, Dwane. He was excellent. I never saw him before, but man, he was probably the hardest guy up there. Really, really good abs and just a really good body. His conditioning was fantastic. I could have seen him in second.
Mm-hmm. Now, talk to me a little bit about Dwayne Walker, because we don't really know that much about him. A lot of people don't know about him. I love his Instagram. He has great muscle separation. He's got good abs, striated pecs, which we don't see. Lee, we've talked about them before. For some reason we don't see a lot of striated pecs anymore. But this guy has got lots of, crazy separation in his body.
He's got great separation and great abs. I mean, a lot of these guys, you see the guys with the ripped glutes and they're missing the abs. Their abs are totally washed out. I see that more and more with these pros.
Right.
But not this guy. This guy had washboard abs. I mean, they look fantastic.
And, he almost has a classic look to his physique, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for, coming in sharp and conditioned and separated. That's what Phil Heath was so good at. And that's what this guy has, too. Very pretty physique.
It's funny, a few of his shots there side on in different poses, he just looks like a smaller version of Tony Freeman coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Lee. That's a really good comparison,
Yeah.
I think give him another couple of years too, and he'll be up there.
I think this guy's going to go far. He's really got a great physique.
I'm impressed with he has like almost like it's like immature like muscle, like that you're just waiting for this guy's body to like explode, right? I mean, like at some point he's gonna just reach his potential, so to speak.
Probably be similar to when Ronnie was competing when he started off as a pro. He had everything there, but he had that soft look. Then all of a sudden, one year just went boom, and you're like, wow.
Right. I mean, look at the glutes and hams right there.
He seems like a very young guy too, so I think he's got a long way to go.
Right. Look, there was a lot of potential in the show for the fact that a lot of the international guys couldn't come in and compete here. I think we got a pretty good show, and I don't know if it's because guys were dieting longer for the show, because I'm sure a lot of these guys were going to compete earlier, and then they had to keep putting it off because all these shows kept getting canceled, right?
Yeah, well, like that classic physique guy, he said he was dieting since February.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what he's eating now.
Yeah, exactly. But that goes to show. I always say, if it's the people that work the hardest that get rewarded. Because if you put all that work in and you don't give up, it's the guys that give up that just get screwed. Because because they don't even get to go on stage. They can complain all they want, but you know what? No one told you to stop dieting.
I was just looking at the comparison shots there on page 7, Dave. The last picture of them all sort of standing relaxed, and the way Hunter's looking there, he looks almost identical to Lee, just standing there.
He obviously, Lee is definitely helping him out, obviously, with all his posing and presentation.
He's not even posing. He's just standing there smiling. You'd swear it was a young version of Lee standing
right.
there.
Well, he's got the same face as him. It's crazy.
Yeah. He's got to get rid of the beard and get the mustache. And then
I know, right? If he did that, forget it. He would be like a clone for him. It would be scary.
Yeah.
It'd be good to see. Like, I know my daughter, she did a couple of shots in the same studio I did, wearing the same overalls 26 years later.
Oh, really?
My daughter doing the same poses. It'd be good to see.
Oh, that's funny.
Hunter grow a mustache and do some old classical.
Yeah, that would be that would just for pictures. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, just comparisons. Yeah.
Let's talk about Phil Clahar, who I actually helped. And he was, I said you're going to do well in this show, because I knew how good his conditioning was, and he wasn't in the first call out at the prejudging, but then he moved up at night and wound up finishing in 4th. He actually got a 3rd place vote as well. So, talk to me about him, John.
Yeah, he had a really good overall structure, real big guy, wide. I would think the only weakness might have been his calves, because you could see that in the back shots.
Yeah.
He was lacking a little bit, like the hamstring calves, but overall, just real big guy and really well conditioned. So another real strong competitor, I thought. I
told him, I said, look, you're still coming into your own. He put a lot of size on from last year, from when I started working with him. And I said, look, you're still, I know he's not like the youngest guy, but he's still like growing. He started late. Some guy, you start late, you don't peak till later. If you start young, you peak in your 20s, and so as long as you stay injury free, which he is, and I think that's the key, you can make progress into your 40s. It's just a matter of whether you can stay injury free. A lot of guys, when they hit their late 30s, early 40s, they start getting a lot of injuries, and I think that's what sidetracks a lot of these guys.
How old is he, Dave?
I don't know what exact age is, but I think he's definitely over 40.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. Phil, don't yell at me if I'm wrong. No, because he won. I think he might be in his late 30s, because he won the match. He got his pro card. Actually, he got his pro card down in like one of these Caribbean championships or something like that.
Okay.
Or something like that.
You can see in that shot how wide he is and what a big guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a big structure on him, and he can hold a lot more muscle too. That's what's great.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Let's when you see, let's talk about the 5th place competitor, because that whole top 5 was really good. Ronald Gordon was I think super impressive too. I anyone in the top 5 really impressed me, because usually in a pro show you say, well, the top 2 are good, but then everyone else sucked. That wasn't the case at all here.
Right.
We had a lot of like really good guys in this top 5, and which had to make the show really exciting to watch. Talk about Ron Gordon.
And I think, like you said too for a second, David, with the maybe Iain over dieting, I don't know, it just has that look in all the photos where he doesn't look confident. He doesn't look like, he just looks like he doesn't want to be there, whereas everybody else is smiling. The whole stage presentation, when you look at Iain, he's just like,
well, Lee, when you showed up at the Olympia with the long hair, you knew you weren't in shape, and I could tell you were not your usual self.
I was at McDonald's a week before that.
I know, but when you're not in shape or something goes wrong, and I think maybe he just wasn't confident. Look at this.
Like I said, everybody else is smiling and looking all
happy. Right.
He looks like he just looks tired, and with like I said, the team looking like that almost looks like it was a rush job, and I just look like tired. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Yeah, sometimes when you get stressed out, your pH of your skin changes and it won't accept the color either. So that could be a problem. Ron Gordon, though, look at this wacky shot. I mean, you look at this, you're like, this guy probably won the show, right? I mean, that's what I see when I look at it. You know, he's got some wacky, cool shots.
Yeah, he could still fill out more. He could still use some more thickness in the upper body because he's so tall and wide. But yeah, he's another real imposing guy. I mean, he could structure alone and his height. I mean, he's got great genetics too.
How tall was he, John? Do you know?
I don't know. He seemed like he was taller than everybody else.
Was he like? Well, Iain Valliere is about what, almost 6 foot, right?
Yeah, I think him and Hunter are about what, 5'10", 5'9".
I think Hunter's about 5'9". Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this guy had to be at least 6 feet.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, look at that back double. I mean, he could be maybe a little sharper, but like you said, just a little bit more muscle maturity, maybe.
Yeah, he just needs, like, in his torso, he needs more size, but that'll come, I guess, with time. Yeah, no,
I'm pretty impressed with the way he looks here.
All those guys had great leg development.
When they did that final call out, you know, when they had Lee and Iain posing down against each other, were people going crazy?
You mean Hunter?
Down or
excuse me, Hunter. Sorry, I thought Lee Priest was in the show for a minute.
Oh, they.
Yeah, I felt like the audience felt like Hunter had it all the way. I didn't really feel like it was a close thing. You know, it seemed like once he came out and did his routine, it was pretty dominant, and I think he established himself as the winner.
Right, but you don't think that usually when they do those call-outs, the crowd goes crazy. I mean, at least in New York they go crazy. I don't know.
Well, they had the top. They did the top 4. They didn't do the top 2.
Oh, okay. Were you at prejudging?
Oh no, I wasn't a prejudging.
Okay, prejudging. I know they had the 2-person call-out, and I mean, look how wide Iain is. But you're right. Look, he looks like he just got rolled out of bed there. Something definitely happened. I'll have to get him on the show. I guarantee you he either got sick or maybe he was throwing up. I hope he doesn't have COVID. Were you worried about that, John, going to the show?
No, everybody's wearing their masks. So, I mean, the hotel was really, really strict. Like when you walked in, they did your temperature and everybody had to wear masks. And even when the show was over and everybody crowded out into the lobby, they had the hotel employees standing on the stairs yelling at people if they had their mask down.
Oh, really? Wow.
They were really, really strict about that. Yeah.
I just went through all of Ian's pictures, the 4 pages, and he must have had something on his mind because he's not smiling in any of them.
No, I mean, who doesn't smile on stage? That's the first thing you do.
I'm surprised everyone that went to the show too. They must have been like, shit, we're getting our temperature taken. We better lay off the cleanse for the next few days to get into the show.
At least they weren't doing anal temperature readings, Lee, right? Some of these guys might have liked it.
My old house buddy Paul Dillette wouldn't have got in because he used to take Glenn and sit there all day. Son, I'm burning up, son.
Blackman could have been doing the anal temperatures. They could have given him that job.
Yeah, you feel 90.
Let's segue, John, just real quickly. There were the figure champion. Latoya Farley. What were your thoughts on her? Did you see her on stage?
No, I didn't. I only saw the men.
Oh, you're like Blackman. You don't even watch the girls? Come on.
I'm out in the lobby drinking.
Oh, that's why you're a little out of it. We were wondering, right? So John's having trouble opening his eyes up. What does John Hansen drink? You know, when he drinks.
I was having Bacardi and Coke.
Nice.
For some of these shows that are that long, you got to drink just to get through it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Look at this, Lee. Look at this physique, though. I mean, this girl is. I never even saw her compete before. She is really good. What a set of quads on her, right? For a figure competitor. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this girl's going to give some of these Olympia girls a run for their money. I think she's that good. I don't know if you guys agree, but I'm very impressed.
Great structure. Yeah. Great legs.
Right? I mean, she can almost do women's physique, although her upper body's not as big, but I'm impressed. And Jennifer Dory won the pro bikini. Did you see her?
No.
She's a perennial, obviously top Olympian, and I think that a lot of people just come and they want to compete before the Olympic. So This was their first chance. I thought they had a great bikini lineup. It was all bikini Olympia girls in the lineup here.
John come back in when the wellness was on, didn't you, John?
No, I missed that too.
You missed that too? Oh, yeah.
That's when he started doing shots.
You know, I got to tell you that the whole wellness thing is you know, I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I'm going to pull up the wellness winner, okay, who looked really good, by the way, and I want you guys to distinguish for me, if you can.
No,
we see our bikini champion Jennifer Dory, right? And now we're going to go to our wellness champ. You tell me the difference. Okay, Renee Harshley. Can you? What's the difference?
One had purple on. She's got white and green and stripes on it.
I mean, is there a difference? I don't know.
What did I win?
Do we really need another category? I mean,
how does she look from the back?
She looks great from the back, but I'm just saying I mean, the bikini girls have nice round,
from the
bottoms.
back when they do that pose, you got to see who's carrying the most money in their pouch by the look of it.
All right, I'm gonna give you a booty shot just for Lee Priest here.
I can't stand that pose.
How's that one?
My glasses on too. Hold on.
All right. I mean it's great. I just don't see a difference between bikini and wellness.
Not as big. I thought they were gonna have much bigger glutes.
Well, this is the winner. This is their winner. This was their winner. To me, I think you could put the bikini and you could put wellness together, and I don't think there's that much of a distinction. Maybe it's a little more muscle in wellness.
Yeah.
Look, you know what it is? It's a very big division down in South America. I've talked about this before, and because of that, they're running shows down there. They had to sanction it, is what it amounted to. But I don't think it's. Look, it's like it would be like coming out with another men's division. I mean, what else can we do? I mean,
at the Olympia, instead of the 212, can we have the 29 with it? Just
we should do the. You know how they have those. You know how like some like gay men like the hairy guys.
Oh,
we should have the bear. We should do the bear division. Instead of shaving down and putting tan on, you come in completely pale with just a hairy chest and everything like that,
and a beard,
and a beard. Right, a lot of hair. We call it the bear division, and judge that. Why not sanction it? Right, make some money. You still got to be in shape.
Wellness in men to me, it's almost like when I hear wellness, it's almost when you go to just a normal nightclub. Remember they used to have the Hawaiian Tropics contest?
Yeah.
Similar to that. It just looks like they get a guy who's in good shape, looks like a model, or a girl that looks like a model, and they would win prize money and stuff and smell like coconut oil. So,
but they're not. But the girls are in really good shape. That's the whole thing. If they're not bikini. They're not like barroom hot body contest, people. If that was the case, I'd be like, all right, well, that's what they want, fine. But there's not a distinction like that. It's just weird. I got to pull this one shot up. This is a great shot of Lee. Lee, I keep calling him Lee. Oh my God. Great shot of Hunter. Hold on.
Is he doing that same pose there, or what?
Yeah, he's doing the butt pose. Yeah. Hold on.
I'm sure you talked about George Peterson already, right, Dave?
I talked about him yesterday. I did my wrap up yesterday on him, and you know what? How Lee and I was speculating before. How would George have done in the open class?
Oh, I think it would have been great.
Could he have placed top 3?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how he would have looked next to the bigger guys, but man, he looked fantastic. He was definitely one of the highlights of the whole weekend.
Really? All right. Well, that's a big deal.
Not only big, but his conditioning was fantastic.
Him in the open might have been like the Lee Labrada back in the open days.
Yeah. How's that shot of Hunter from behind? That's a great shot. I mean, look at the glutes, hams. I mean, the guy's he's got a lot of muscle maturity for a relatively young guy.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a future star. Lee predicted he's going to win the Olympia. That's what Lee's prediction has been.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think it's possible for sure. And I don't even think his back is one of his strong points right now. It's his arms and his legs are his strong points. But his back doesn't look bad there.
It's like I said, sort of when you're looking at him, he just has the qualities that a young Jay Cutler had coming up, and you knew Jay had potential later on, and he went on to win the Olympia. And looking at Hunter, you sort of see he's got everything there. If he just builds on it and does it smart and everything falls into place,
which he's
I can't
doing.
see why he wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you for, even though you're drunk, thank you for recapping the show with Lee and I. And obviously, Lee has got a very bright future. Hunter's got a very bright future. And I predict that Iain Valliere will come back with a vengeance at the next show. And we'll come in right, full, dense, tanned. And I think he'll win a pro show before the Olympia. And we'll see him on the Olympia stage.
How many from this show qualify for the Olympia? Just the first or top 3? Or
the first, and then you get points. So for the top 5. So
okay,
those other guys have to build up, which are significant though, Lee, when you think about it, because there's not that many pro shows before the Olympia. So if you get points in 1 or 2 shows, that could be enough to qualify you for the Olympia.
There's only 2 more shows, isn't there, or 3?
I don't even know how many more they're going to have. New York Pro, right? We got still.
What sort of reporter are you? I bet if I asked Nick Strength, he would fucking know.
John Hansen's your statistics guy, but he's drunk. He doesn't remember anything.
Well, I know they got Chicago too, right?
That's right, Chicago. Yeah, that's
it's not
true.
that John doesn't remember. After going to a show that long, John's trying to fucking forget.
He doesn't even need alcohol to get drunk. You get drunk just from being there that long,
You go loopy after a while. You're like, oh,
exactly. Well, guys, thanks for joining me again for this little RX Muscle News update. I'm Dave Palumbo with Lee Priest and John Hansen. We'll see you next time.